So we will do spaces of hand and arterial arches. Okay. So what are the spaces in the hand we see? So for this you should remember yesterday's class, like what are the muscles we have seen. So spaces of hand in the sense, so if you remember yesterday's class, we have talked about the muscles in the palm, thenar compartment, hypothenar compartment, isn't it? Thenar and hypothenar group of muscles we have talked. Can you name thenar group and hypothenar, Hema?
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, opponens pollicis, and adductor pollicis brevis. These are thenar group.
Hypothenar?
And, hypothenar, abductor digiti minimi, flexor digiti minimi, opponens digiti minimi, palmaris brevis. That's it.
Nice. Chavi, I have sent the link. Join fast. Okay. Apart from that, what do we have? Lumbricals, palmar interossei, and dorsal interossei. So that means between these muscles, you will find some spaces which are nothing but the palmar and thenar spaces. We will see in the palm. You have mid palmar space, thenar space, and pulp space of fingers. For all diagrams are there. This is only the list what we are finding. Dorsal subaponeurotic in the sense like just below the skin, whatever space we have, you call it as dorsal subcutaneous space, and below aponeurosis, that is the superficial fascia, you have dorsal subaponeurotic space. Okay. Then what are the tendons which are entering into the palm from the forearm?
Digitorum superficialis. And
Flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus.
Digitorum profundus.
Yeah. Okay. I told you they are all covered with synovial sheaths because these are the places where we need extra lubrication. That's the reason we have bursae also. We will see everything diagrammatically now. Okay. Now see here. This is Datta's picture. What we have. So what is this picture showing us yesterday when we have seen palm? So what did we see? First of all, I have shown you the skin. Isn't it? Below the skin, we have seen the superficial fascia. Then we have seen palmar aponeurosis. We saw few structures passing superficial to flexor retinaculum. Few structures we saw passing deep to the retinaculum. Isn't it? So we saw the tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus. So actually, suppose if this is palmar aponeurosis, there are septa which are coming down from the palmar aponeurosis which are moving downwards. Okay, this septa will divide the, suppose this is the superficial, like palmar aponeurosis. Below palmar aponeurosis, you have septa like this. Okay, so which will divide this palm into few spaces. What are those? Mid palmar and thenar space. Okay, so this is medial palmar septum, this is intermediate palmar septum, this is lateral palmar septum. So between medial palmar septum and intermediate palmar septum, we have mid palmar space. Between intermediate palmar septum and lateral palmar septum, we have thenar space. Okay, that is because thumb is, I told you, thumb is thenar, isn't it? So like that. So apart from that, we will have many spaces. We will see. See here, mid palmar space is this. Okay. So in the middle of the palm, whatever space we are finding, this is mid palmar space, and adjacent to that, towards the thumb, this is the thenar eminence. Here we have thenar space. Okay. So this picture is also from Datta. So it's actually a very good picture which helps us to understand the layout of structures what we have studied. Don't read any of these things, just see. See beta, this is now to like a palm which is dissected in such a way like you are finding the thenar eminence and hypothenar eminence, then the structures one below the other. Like for example, this is thenar muscles, this is hypothenar muscles. That means this is lateral aspect, this is medial aspect. Okay, then now what is this beta? As soon as you reflect, you will see palmar aponeurosis. Below palmar aponeurosis, this bluish tendons. Hema, what are these tendons? Hansraj, just below the
Flexor
skin.
digitorum superficial.
Very good. Flexor digitorum superficialis. Below flexor digitorum superficialis, what is the name of these blue tendons?
Profundus.
Huh.
Flexor digitorum.
Flexor digitorum profundus. Between flexor digitorum profundus, you are finding muscle fibers. What are these muscles?
Lumbricals.
Yeah, lumbricals. Okay. Now, so that means this layout is from superficial thing. We are moving to deep aspect. Okay. Now below these lumbrical muscles, you are finding there is one space which is shown in pink color. This space is nothing but, you call it as mid-palmar space. Okay. So we know this septum is, just now I told you, this is intermediate septum, isn't it? This is medial palmar septum. This pinkish line is intermediate septum. This one is lateral septum. So between, if we go to previous picture, if you can recollect, I told you, see, this is medial palmar septum, this is intermediate. Between these two, this space is, which space? The mid palmar space. So this is our mid palmar space. Now if you go to previous picture, between intermediate palmar septum and lateral palmar septum, whatever yellowish area you are finding, you call this as thenar space, which is towards the thumb. So this is the intermediate palmar septum and this is lateral palmar septum, and this area is which space?
Thenar.
Thenar space. Okay, so we have, see, mid palmar space and thenar space is usually a 5 marks question. Okay, then let us understand the layout of the picture further. So below the superficialis tendon, we have flexor digitorum profundus, lumbricals. Below this, you have mid palmar space. Below this, what are these? Though it is not labeled, these are metacarpal bones. From the palmar aspect, can you name these muscles? Hema?
I don't remember.
Palmar interossei.
Okay.
Okay. Once you cut these muscles below, what are the bipinnate? All bipinnate. What are these muscles? Between the metacarpals. Below
Dorsal
palmar interossei. Hansraj.
Dorsal interossei.
Very good, beta. Dorsal interossei. Okay.
Class salary. I'm class.
Below that, you are finding the subaponeurotic space. Then you are finding extensor tendons, below which you are finding dorsal subcutaneous space. That means you are tracing from here till here, beta. Samajh mein aa raha na? Like from the palmar aspect, you are doing dissection. Once you remove skin, you will see palmar aponeurosis. Once you remove palmar aponeurosis, you will see the tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis. Once you remove this, you will see flexor digitorum profundus and lumbricals. Once you remove that, you will see the space, mid palmar thenar space. Below the space, we will see palmar interossei. Below that, we will see dorsal interossei. Below that, you will see extensor tendons, above which you have the subaponeurotic space. Below that, you have subcutaneous space. So this is the layout of palm. So towards the thumb, whatever eminence is there, you call it as thenar eminence, where just now Hema has listed out the muscles. Those are the thenar muscles. Isn't it? AFO. I gave you the code. Abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, pollicis. Oh, brevis is here, no? Towards hypothenar. Abductor pollicis, then abductor, yeah, I'm right only. Then adductor pollicis. These are thenar muscles. Hypothenar, what is the name given? Abductor digiti minimi, flexor digiti minimi, opponens digiti minimi. Okay. So this all we have discussed yesterday. Now we are only bothered about these extra spaces. Why are we concerned about these free spaces between the muscles? Wherever there is a free space, there is a risk of infection. There may be accumulation of pus. Okay, there may be lot of pain if there is any infection. Okay, that's the reason we are bothered more clinically about these spaces. Again, you will talk about these mid-palmar thenar spaces when you go to 4th year surgery. Very, very important topic, beta. Okay. Now, let us discuss in detail mid-palmar space. So, when you just see in the cadaver, in the dissection hall, the shape of this mid-palmar space, okay, that is towards, see, it's labeled here, towards the little finger, medial side, we have mid-palmar space, where I kept the arrow. It is like a triangle, okay, which is seen on the medial aspect of the palm, as you can see. Little finger is medial, this is the medial aspect of the palm. Okay, then in front of this space, what are we finding? Suppose this is the space, this is front and this is behind. Front, what are we finding? So palmar aponeurosis. Okay, below this, in today's class only, we will also discuss the arches. Okay, superficial palmar arch. I will show you how it is formed. Okay, below that you are finding the flexor tendons, okay, which are moving towards little finger, ring finger and middle finger. Okay, along with their synovial sheaths. Okay, then see these two lumbricals you are finding. So what are these two lumbricals we are finding? The third and fourth lumbrical. I told you counting always should start from thumb. Though thumb is lateral, isn't it, beta? This is first lumbrical, this is second lumbrical, this is third, and this is fourth. So in mid-palmar space, which lumbricals are we finding?
Third, fourth.
Yes, Hema?
Third, fourth.
Yeah, third and fourth lumbrical. Okay, so they are found in front, all these structures. So they form the in front boundaries. Now what is seen behind?
Interossei.
Interossei. Very good. Okay, behind, just now Hema told us it is interossei. Okay, and interossei is covered with dense fascia, deep fascia. Okay, and you will see metacarpal bones. Okay, this is the fascia. Over the interossei, palmar interossei, you are finding this is the dense fascia which is forming the posterior boundary or behind the mid-palmar space. Okay, third and fourth spaces. Okay, then which is the lateral boundary? This boundary, this pink line becomes lateral. So pink line, what do we have, beta? There, pink line is intermediate fibrous septum, isn't it? Then what is the medial boundary? Medial palmar septum. If you go to this picture, medial boundary is medial palmar septum, lateral boundary is intermediate palmar septum for mid palmar space, to be simple. Okay, and towards medial palmar septum, what are the muscles we have? Medially, hypothenar. Okay, so medial palmar septum, and then we have hypothenar muscles. Okay, so that is lateral boundary we saw, medial boundary we saw. Okay, then coming to, suppose this is mid palmar space towards little finger, this is proximal. Like this becomes proximal and this becomes distal, beta. This is proximal, this is distal. Between these two, these two fingers, you will have the space that is mid palmar space. So proximally, you are finding this green red. What this also we have discussed. What is this thickening of deep fascia called as?
Flexor retinaculum.
Yeah, flexor retinaculum. Okay. So here you will find bursae also. So which is very close to ulnar bursa. Okay. Then I will tell you what is this forearm space of corona. In this case, we have that topic also in this PowerPoint. Okay. Distally, you will have, suppose this is our mid palmar space and this is a distal boundary now. So distally it is extending as diverticulum. Diverticulum means outpouchings. Okay. To the webs of fingers. Okay. Which fingers you see? Third and fourth lumbrical muscles, that area. Here you have third lumbrical and here you have fourth lumbrical, and these spaces are actually called as web space. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the web spaces. Okay, so that means distally you have these outpouchings which are nothing but diverticular to the webs of the fingers. Okay, so is that clear? Boundaries are clear for you? 4 boundaries I talked about. No, in fact 6. Like In front relations we saw, behind we saw, medial we saw, then lateral we saw, proximal we saw, distal we saw. We should know this very clearly. Okay? Then, so what I told you, this topic is important because it is surgically important. Suppose if there is any infection in the palm, the infection can easily spread to from the skin to the palmar aponeurosis. What is the infection of palmar aponeurosis called as? Yesterday I told you. It can be 3 marks question.
Some contracture.
What
some,
contracture, beta?
H, something with H, ma'am. Humans.
Hansraj, Abhinav, Chavi. Dupuytren's contracture.
Okay.
Isn't it, beta?
Okay.
So like that, the infection will spread better. I'll take you to that picture again. See, infection can be on the skin. From the skin, it will go to palmar aponeurosis. From there, it can easily spread to this empty white area. All these empty spaces. Okay. So this pink spaces, it can go to mid-palmar space. From there, it can go to thenar space. Wherever empty space is there between the tendons, there infection can easily spread. Okay. Very dangerous. So painful it will be. Okay, that is mid-palmar infection. So it is closed space infection of palmar space. Okay, so normally our hand is having concavity, right? But in this case, it will be opposite. It will be swollen. Okay, and there will be pain on touch. You call it as tenderness. Pain on touch is called tenderness. Okay. And of course, we know that extension diverticula are towards 3rd and 4th digits. No, that's why person will not be able to flex it easily. There will be pain. Okay. Then how to drain it? See, beta, this is C area. Okay. So this area is mid-palmar space, right? Towards little finger. And we know these are the extensions. Diverticula, I said, 3rd and 4th web spaces. You can give incision either in the C area or in this red lines between B. And once you give small nick-like incision, if you just express it, the pus will come out. Okay, and you can treat it with proper antibiotics. Okay. So treatment is pus drained by splitting the web spaces between 3rd and 4th digits and exploring this lumbrical canal. Those diverticula, what I have said. Okay, beta? That is. So is that clear? Mid-palmar space?
Yes, ma'am.
Then we are going to next space. Towards the thumb, I told you this is thenar eminence. And whatever space we find there, you call it as thenar space. Okay? So it lies on the lateral side of the palm. And if you just observe this, this is also like a triangle. Can you tell me medial boundary without going? Now let us discuss more. If you have understood previous boundaries more or less, it is
lateral palmar
Intermediate.
septum.
excellent. Intermediate septum. Very good. Which is the lateral boundary?
Lateral palmar.
Lateral septum. Very good. What is the proximal boundary?
Flexor retina.
Excellent. What may be distal? Again, web space only, beta, those diverticula.
Okay.
Isn't it? Then in front. In front and behind we saw, right?
Okay.
In front again, same.
Flexor digitorum profundus and
But you should come in order. Palmar aponeurosis.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Then superficialis, tendons, flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus, like that. That means now you got some idea in your brain. Easily you can write everything. Okay, so that means this is lying in the lateral aspect of the palm. Shape is triangular. Pay attention, very easy, beta. Everything is texted. Same picture I have kept again. Thenar space is towards thumb. This is lateral side. Okay. So in front, just now you told me, it is nothing but same thing. Palmar aponeurosis, superficial palmar arch, muscles of thenar eminence. Okay. What are those? Abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, then opponens pollicis, adductor pollicis. Then flexor tendons of index finger and first, you can see first and second lumbrical. Okay, beta? That is.
Okay.
Behind, पीछे. What are these, beta? इसके ये वाले.
Interosseous. Palmar indorsal.
Interosseous you are finding. Apart from that, do you remember we had a fourth muscle in the thenar group? The last muscle was?
Palmaris brevis.
Palmaris to paina unde kada beta. Skin only, no? You found. That too
Thenar
palmaris.
fourth. Adductor pollicis brevis.
Medial aspect, Hema. You should
Okay,
be very...
adductor pollicis brevis.
Huh?
Is it adductor pollicis brevis?
Beta. Adductor pollicis brevis. Okay, behind.
Okay.
Palmaris brevis is found within the superficial fascia in the
Yeah.
palmar aspect on the medial side, hypothenar compartment. Okay, beta? Not thenar.
Okay.
No problem. If you talk, you will learn more. Mistakes make us remember more. So it's okay even if you tell wrong. No problem. So laterally, which is the lateral boundary? This, no beta? You already told me like it is lateral palmar septum. It's written here. Apart from that, to emphasize more, we can also talk about flexor pollicis longus tendon. Okay? We have seen in the flexor group of muscles, this muscle. Okay? Then medially, you already told me this pink line. What is this? Intermediate fibrous septum. You already knew this. Proximally also you told me. It is flexor retinaculum. Distally, it is, we have also guessed like it must be also a diverticula, isn't it? So that is the facial diverticula along first and second lumbrical. There it was third and fourth. Here it is first and second. Okay? Is it clear? Yes, beta? Hema?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So now see here, if the infection was in middle, you call it as mid-palmar space infection. Now this is thumb, thenar eminence. If you find infection here, you call it as thenar space infection. This is also closed space infection. Okay. So and see here towards like thumb, we have lateral side. Here we have, I will show you now in the following slides, the radial bursa, ulnar bursa also. If there is any infection in radial bursa, usually that infection only will spread into the palm and it will go as thenar space infection. So pain and swelling will be there towards the thenar eminence and first web space where arrow is shown. Okay. Thumb is held in abducted and flexed position. Okay. Due to pain and swelling, it will be abducted and flexed position. Okay, beta? That is.
Okay.
Now, treatment A line, you should give incision here. Okay. Drained by an incision in the first web space. That is the web space of thumb. Okay. So these are the mid-palmar and thenar spaces are routine 5 marks question. Very popular questions these are. They may sometimes can come as essays also, but spaces of palm, very important. Okay.
Ma'am, there's a doubt now.
Yes.
In hypothenar, that type of infection, we cannot flex the last two fingers, right?
Yes. Mid-palmar
and here,
space, here you will see the flexion like this.
Okay, so we cannot flex them.
They can they cannot because of pain.
And and in the second type, it is always in flexed position.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now coming to pulp space. Pulp space can also a 3 marker. Very popular question again.
Okay.
Many times it was asked. See here, listen carefully. In pulp space, see, suppose this is skin. From the skin, you are finding the fibrous septae which are going up to periosteum of the bone. Okay, are you finding these black lines? All black lines which are starting just below the skin and getting attached to the periosteum of this phalangeal bone, distal phalanx. This one, distal phalanx. Pulp space is this only. Okay, this space is basically loaded with fat. You should have, if you can recollect in the dissection hall, when you have cut this, lot of fat comes out. Very tough, thick, tight locules it is. No? That is. So that is pulp space. So because this is, do you remember ischiorectal fossa? If the fat is arranged in tight locules, it will be very painful. No? Similarly here also, you will see fat is arranged in tight compartments because of which you will see if there is any infection in pulp space of finger, it will be highly painful. Now let us read what is written here. So spaces between palmar skin and distal phalanx, distal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, distal phalanx only, okay, of all the fingers. Okay, it lies distal to the fibrous sheaths of flexor tendons. Then, now skin is connected to periosteum of distal phalanx. I already told you, this is skin, this is periosteum, and these black lines are nothing but the septa, which are extending from the skin to the periosteum of the bone. Okay, which divides this into number of tight compartments. Okay, where you have lot of subcutaneous fat and blood vessels. Okay, that is. So now you see here, beta. See, this is skin. These are the fibrous septae, and this is the bone, and this will be the outermost covering periosteum. Between the fibrous septae, you are finding all fat arranged in tight locules. Okay, this is called as pulp space. Pulp space. Infection in this area is called as Whitlow. You will see the spelling as we proceed. Whitlow can be a question. So see, I'll show you the spelling. Don't worry. Distal 4/5 of distal phalanx receives blood supply from digital arteries. Once we study the palmar arches, you will come to know from the digital arteries are the branches of superficial and deep palmar arches. Okay. Then now see here, there can be infection like this. Okay, so this infection of pulp space is common, and of course it is serious also. So it is commonly occurring in the thumb and index finger. Okay, so why is it, especially when you are doing that physiology experiments where you prick to collect your own blood, there may be a risk of bacterial infection where pulp space of finger may be infected. So bacteria is usually introduced into the space by pinpricks or sieving needles. Okay. So what is the word used? I told you this is Whitlow, also called as phelon. Okay. Abscess, nothing but pus formation in the pulp space. Okay. Severe pain will be there. So basically we should give lateral incision like this better. Okay. So lateral incision is given and the pus is drained. Okay. Suppose if we are neglecting, what happens? This blood vessel gets degenerated and the distal phalanx may get amputated also. Amputated. Why? Because there is no blood supply and it may be degenerated. Okay, that's what is called as avascular necrosis of distal 4/5 of distal phalanx. Okay, so those were very 3 important spaces. These are all for our knowledge. Till now no question has come, but I hope you remember where it is present. Dorsal subcutaneous, that means if you see, this is the dorsum of my hand, isn't it? If you just lift the skin, below the skin so much of free space is available. That free space is nothing but, what is that? Dorsal subcutaneous space. Okay, it is found in the superficial fascia of the dorsum of the hand. So we find dorsal venous arch I discussed when I was talking about venous drainage of upper limb, isn't it? What is the medial continuation of dorsal venous arch? Medial continuation. What is the name of the vein? Basilic vein. Dorsal.
Can't say, ma'am. Thumb or little finger. Thumb means
little finger. We have basilic vein.
Basilic.
Basilic.
Cephalic vein. AC, I gave you that code. Okay. Okay, beta. So dorsal subcutaneous space is containing dorsal venous arch. We will find dorsal digital nerves. Okay, which are nothing but the branches of radial nerve and ulnar nerve. Okay, so this is the dorsal subcutaneous space. Okay, then below the extensor tendons, whatever space we are finding, that is dorsal subaponeurotic space. Okay, so that means below the deep fascia and above the dorsal interosseous, whatever space is there, that is dorsal subaponeurotic space, which contains extensor tendons, dorsal digital expansion, dorsal carpal arch. Okay, deep arch, that is. and the veins and arteries, dorsal metacarpal branches. Okay, sometimes we may find infection in dorsal subcutaneous and subaponeurotic spaces also. Okay, now, so in the forearm also you have seen muscles, no? Flexor digitorum superficialis, long tendons. Flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus. All were having journey from forearm to palm. So all these tendons are surrounded by synovial sheaths, isn't it? What is the purpose of the synovial sheaths? Lubrication.
Reduces friction.
Okay, because lot of friction, they get rubbed over each other. See the arrangement, isn't it better? This is profundus. Okay, sorry, this is superficialis, this is profundus. Okay, like that you will see. So now, so surrounding this, you will have the synovial sheaths. Towards the radius bone, you call it as radial bursa, and towards the little finger, all these tendons are enclosed in the synovial sheath, which is given a special name, which is called as ulnar bursa. That means towards little finger we have ulnar bursa, towards thumb we have radial bursa. They are in communication with free space in the forearm. This free space inside the forearm is forearm space of Parona. Space of Parona. Okay, so facial interval underneath the flexor tendons on the front of distal part of forearm. Okay, then.
Okay.
So now the boundaries are anteriorly you are finding the tendons of flexor digitorum profundus superficialis. They are all surrounded by the synovial sheath. Okay. So this is superficialis, this is profundus. This bluish line is nothing but the synovial sheath. They are all forming one bursa. What is the name of this synovial sheath bursa? Towards little finger, we call it as ulnar bursa. Okay, towards the thumb, that is surrounding the tendon of flexor pollicis longus, you call this bursa as radial bursa. Okay, then. So radial bursa and ulnar bursa. So this ulnar bursa, you can see it is in continuation with the forearm space of Parona. So proximally, it is in continuation with the intermuscular spaces in the forearm. Distally, it is reaching up to the level of wrist. Laterally, outer border of forearm. Medially, inner border of forearm. Like that. We are talking about only forearm space of Parona, this one. Medially, medial border of forearm. Laterally, lateral border of forearm. Okay, this is medial border of forearm. This is lateral border of forearm. Okay. Then proximally, you are finding the intermuscular spaces of forearm, and distally almost up to flexor retinaculum. Nothing but reaches up to the level of wrist is nothing but flexor retinaculum. So this is forearm space better. From here till here, up to flexor retinaculum, whatever area is there, from here till here is forearm space. There also, because any free space is the place where if there is an infection, pus can collect. Okay, so it may become infected because of the ulnar bursa, because ulnar bursa is in continuation with forearm space of Parona. They will be continuous. Okay, then how to drain it? So vertical incision on the distal part of the forearm. Okay, distal part of the forearm, if you give incision, we can drain. Okay, then see, these are web spaces. I said this is web between two fingers, whatever area is there, that is web. Okay, so there also you will see extra space is there, subcutaneous spaces are there, you call them as web space. Okay, not so important. Now you can see here beta, this is radial bursa, this is ulnar bursa, which is in more continuation with forearm space of Parona. Okay, so this is radial bursa, enclosing the sign like tendon of flexor pollicis longus. Okay, so this radial bursa, superiorly it is extending about 2.5 centimeters proximal, that means here. This where I am keeping the arrow. This is superior extension. Inferiorly it is extending almost up to the distal phalanx of the thumb. Okay, this is ulnar bursa, this is radial bursa. So both of them are